To this story now. The Western Cape will finally have a children's commissioner. Now, child rights groups have been waiting for the appointment since former Premier Helen Zille promised one in 2009. Legislative wranglings and a lack of funding delayed the appointment. 59 candidates have now been nominated for the role. The children's commissioner will have the power to monitor, investigate and report on issues relating to children. The chairperson of the Western Cape Legislature's Social Development Committee, that's Gillian Bosman, joins us now from our Cape Town studios to discuss this. Mr. Bosman, thank you very much for your time. So this role, has it ever existed before? And important to that question also is what prompted this idea of a children's commissioner?
Good morning, Claudia. The role is completely new in South Africa, and the Western Cape is going to be the first government in Southern Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, to do that. It's an innovation that's been on the Western Cape Constitution for a long time, but it's an innovation that is only now actually coming to life and being set up.
What will be the duties of the Children's Commissioner?
So as you mentioned in your introduction, the Children's Commissioner is going to be assisting the Western Cape government and the Western Cape at large to promote and protect the interests of children in the province. And that means that the Children's Commissioner will have the powers to investigate, it will have the powers to research, to report, to lobby on behalf of children, and it will have to monitor how children's rights are protected in the province, and more specifically, how the Western Cape government is doing in its role in protecting children.
Some people will ask the question, why now, particularly in a province that's been plagued by child murders owing to your gangsterism in the Western Cape and drug abuse? Some will say this should have been implemented a long time ago.
I think the reason it's being rushed now is in the 5th Parliament, that Parliament tried to get the legislation in place, and the Commissioner for Children for the Western Cape Act of 2019 was passed in the 5th Parliament. And what our committee has now been tasked by the Speaker of Parliament to do was to give effect to that and to start the appointment process so that the Premier can appoint a candidate. The Children's Commissioner has been, as I said earlier, on the Western Cape Constitution for a long time, since the start of democracy, and successive political parties have not touched this. And I think it's testament to the political will that there is to make sure that we've got an additional layer of protection for children. What we also know is that there's really good work that's being done by the provincial government to safeguard the rights of children. The Department of Social Development, for instance, is leading the protection and social services work. But in order to also address the high number of child murders in this province, we've got a collaboration between the University of Cape Town's Children Institute, the Department of Social Development in the Western Cape, the Department of Health in the Western Cape, the South African Police Service and the National Prosecuting Authority, where we are actually monitoring and we are looking into how many children are dying in the province. And through the child death review, we're able to see what the causes of death are, and we're also able to categorize that and create an appropriate response as both Parliament and as government.
So 59 candidates have now been nominated. When can we expect the appointment and the actual start of work by this Children's Commissioner?
So what's happening today is that the objections period is closing. So as you said, there's 59 candidates that's been nominated by the public and by organizations. And what the Standing Committee is now doing, we are looking at Chapter 2, Section 3 of the Act that deals with the qualifications for appointment. And we need to now make sure that people meet the criteria as set out. And we're relying on the public to give us those objections to anybody that they know that may be in violation of that. And that basically speaks to whether people are on the sexual offences register, whether they've been convicted of a violent crime, or whether they've been convicted of any crime in relation to the Children's Act, whether they are an unrehabilitated insolvent, and the objections periods, which close today on the 23rd of October, is when the next step of shortlisting and interviewing candidates will come in. We are confident that we can have a Children's Commissioner early next year, and we hope that that Commissioner can start at work towards the beginning of the year.
All right, Gillian Bosman, thank you very much for your time.